What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright, guys, so we are returning to Popcross Studios with What If My Subscribers Fakemon were SCPs? Okay, now this is interesting. Okay, because some of these, like, fake Pokemon, made-up fan Pokemon are pretty damn interesting. They're pretty damn wild. So, let's see what he does with these ones as SCPs. Alright, so let's go.
For a little over a year now, Pokemon as SCPs has been one of the most popular series on this channel.
Yeah, it is.
For it's always really
cool.
fun to make. The narrator's
Looks
dry,
badass, too.
kind of emotionless voice, inspired by channels like the Volgan, is really fun to do. And people in the comments always have lots of great suggestions for what Pokemon I can use in follow-up episodes. So, when a subscriber who goes by Ben Legal suggested that I take subscribers' own original Pokemon, or Fakemon, and turn them into SCPs for one of my monthly community redraw episodes,
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty much a no-brainer that I was going to take on that idea. So, for the last month, my subscribers have been sending in their Fakemon. I've taken 6 of my favorites to turn into SCPs for today, and in between drawings I'll show off a bunch of the other stuff I've sent in. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go.
Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone. Today my lecture circuit continues with a set of 6 SCPs, currently under Foundation observation, all falling into the subcategory of SCP-P. As always, I am Professor Oakland. Please save all inquiries until the end of the lecture, and now we may begin. Item number SCP-P1335. Object class, Archon. Special containment procedures. The only known specimen of P1335 currently resides 5,500 feet below the surface of the Arctic Ocean in the Malloy Hole. Subaquatic cameras have been placed in its vicinity to ensure personnel are made aware if it ever chooses to leave this territory. If it does so, field operatives will be sent in to track its movements and possibly bring it into an SCP containment facility. Description. SCP-P1335 is a 25-foot tall, hairy fish creature. It has traits that resemble both those of a deep-sea anglerfish, as well as those of a woolly mammoth. It has a bioluminescent stem spawning from its forehead, massive teeth, and tusks protruding from its lower jaw. The creature was discovered by coincidence, while personnel were tracking the movements of SCP-P382, the Leviathan-esque entity commonly associated with P383.
Oh, Kyogre.
P1335
was following
made a show
Groudon.
of aggression as P382 swam through its territory, though no fight broke out between the creatures. P1335 spends much of its time walking along the ocean floor, though it has proven capable of swimming at great speeds despite its rotund shape and lack of pectoral or pelvic fins. The creature has been under observation now for approaching 20 years and has shown no desire to stray far from the territory it regularly traverses, though there have been some strange occurrences over the years. When threatened by other deep-sea predators, it has on occasion gotten into a fight. When this occurs, the cameras observing it always malfunction. When they resume capturing the deep-sea environment, P1335's opponents are always seen to have been mangled and often partially devoured. Some glimpses of footage have come through at times during these conflicts, and it has appeared in some cases as though P1335 is showing anomalous abilities, such as teleportation or telekinesis. But it has been difficult to verify these through the scrambled footage. Observation and research shall continue, but for the time being, P1335 shows no sign of interacting with or threatening anyone outside the Foundation.
Just leave it the hell alone. Don't touch it. Don't play with it. You'll go blind.
Item number SCP-P2513. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Specimens of P2513 are to remain housed in a 50 by 50 foot biome containing rocks, plant life, and a small pond. Rocks are to
Okay.
be replenished as they are consumed by the specimens, and personnel may only enter containment while wearing a specialized armored suit, unless the specimens have first been dosed with a sleeping powder. Description: P2513
Looks like a rock
is
fire
a
type.
species of semi-aquatic bug, stretching roughly 7 feet in length. They heavily resemble lobsters or shrimp, but can reside just as comfortably on land as in water.
That's like a
They were
land
first
crab.
discovered near the coasts of Cairns in Australia, though most found there have
Of course
since
it
been
came from
captured or
Australia.
moved by Foundation personnel
Please.
to avoid them interacting with unsuspecting locals or tourists. These creatures are often calm unless placed in close proximity to another entity that they consider to be a threat. This made them too unpredictable to house in a biome such as that of the Ruby Sector's Safari Zone, hence their own personalized containment. P2513's primary form of attack is to punch their claws at prey with such speed and ferocity that the blow will often burn their victims or leave scorch marks along the terrain they strike.
What is that
Theories
thing?
have
I think it's called a
circulated through the
mantis shrimp.
Foundation that these creatures
does
are
that.
an evolutionary offshoot of mantis shrimps.
Yeah,
Much
there you go.
smaller, less anomalous crustaceans that can also punch their prey with an
Only
incredibly
somewhat
fast,
less anomalous,
forceful blow.
because they can
In
punch
this
so
regard, they
hard
are
that it
similar
boils
to
water
SCP-P693,
instantly.
which has similar theories revolving around it, though that entity can fire beams of water from its dramatically oversized claw. Along
Yeah.
with powerful claws and shells, these creatures also have very strong mouths. They consume not only
Pause.
plant life around them, but even rocks. They will first use their claws to shatter the rocks into small enough pieces to fit between their mandibles, then grind them into a powder for consumption. Some personnel set on studying these creatures are currently in the process of attempting to train some to see if they could be used as allies in the field when hunting other dangerous SCPs.
Good
Their
luck.
violent punches could certainly be a useful weapon against some of the entities our field operatives are often faced with.
That's true, yeah.
This document
if they
will
were
be
helpful.
updated as trials continue.
Can we see an Arceus versus 682, please? Can we get some artwork or video of that
Item
from
number
anybody?
SCP-P2221. Object class, safe. Special containment procedure.
I should actually look that up.
P2221 is to be housed in a standard containment cell. Personnel may enter with no additional precautions other than having an observer
coffee
watching from
cup?
a
I saw
security
that.
camera installed in the room to ensure nothing unusual transpires. Soon it is likely this entity will be permitted to wander about the
A
facility
tank?
it is
That's
housed
awesome.
in freely. Description: P2221 is a 3-foot-tall pink mouse
Aw.
with butterfly wings. According to all known laws
Type
of
fair,
aviation,
yeah. Name
this creature
Bubbles?
should not be able to fly, considering the size and weight of its body. But it has proven
Versus
capable
the size of its
doing
wings.
just that.
Yeah,
It
it's
also
like a
has
bumblebee.
tail with a heart-shaped tip and eyes that
Aw.
can shift color, often signifying that it is about to use its psionic abilities. This creature originally spawned from a pet mouse. It was born
What?
with its strange pink hue and grew very rapidly, causing the family who owned it to start posting videos of it online. The Foundation quickly took notice and took the creature into custody, administering amnestics to the family and scrubbing all signs of it from the internet. Surely there are those that have seen and remember the footage, but thus far this has caused no noticeable public safety concerns.
People would have copied the
Soon
footage
after
too.
being brought into containment, Foundation scientists began running studies on the creature that revealed it had more unusual traits. Its essence seems to be linked to another realm, outside of our own, from which it can transmit energy to our world. This link,
Okay.
we believe, is what has caused its further physical mutations, as well as granted it its psychic abilities. You see, this creature has the ability to cause those around it to hallucinate very vivid images and sensations that cause great joy and a sense of peace. The creature tends to use
What
this
the hell?
ability
So it's
when
living-
it observes
it's living
someone
LSD.
injuring themselves or senses great distress from the mind of someone nearby. This will likely strike all listening as an exclusively positive trait, But the hallucinations are very powerful and have in turn caused those experiencing them to further harm themselves unintentionally due to their lack of awareness of what is actually around them.
Okay.
P2221 has shown a fair degree of intelligence, so personnel are currently attempting to teach it how and when to use its abilities exclusively for good and for the benefit of those it seeks to aid. Once this is sufficiently accomplished, P2221 will be free to wander the facility as it desires and be used to promote better mental health for Foundation workers in the near future.
Let's use it on 682. One of Dr. Bright's favorite sayings. Looks like it's related to
Item number
999.
SCP-P6171. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures.
That dragon thing was pretty cool.
P6171 is to be housed in a 20 by 30 foot aquarium cell with tasers ready to shock the water if the creature gets too unruly.
Oh,
Temperature
shit.
regulators
A
are also
superhero
built
one?
in to ensure the creature does not heat the water to levels that could compromise containment. Description: P6171 is a draconic sea serpent with a largely pale blue hide. Though not noticeable while submerged, the creature has dorsal fins made of water spawning from along its back, and the blade of its tail is made from solidified water, similar to the projectiles thrown by SCP-P658. It reaches roughly 13 feet in length, and previously resided in the Palancar Reef near the island of Cozumel. In the late 1990s, four
That's a pretty
boats
cool-looking
over
Pokemon,
the course
too.
of 6 weeks were destroyed by an unknown force in this area, and in around that time, a strange serpentine sea beast was sighted and photographed by tourist snorkelers. Foundation personnel went to investigate soon after and found the entity, now labeled P6171. The creature seemed to be generally good-intentioned. While it is carnivorous and would consume other sea life, and occasionally people, it did not appear to strike out of malice in any reported case. It seemed to simply attack boats that got too close to its home, or were fishing the nearby creatures. It seemed to have a very protective nature of its territory and the sea life around it. But, of course, it was far too anomalous of a creature to be left in the wild and spotted by civilians. It was taken into Foundation custody, where we got a better look at its combative capabilities. P6171 has a diamond-hard plate on its head that it often uses as a subaquatic
Diamond
battering
is
ram.
hard, but not
This
very
is likely
durable.
what it used to sink the aforementioned boats. But once in containment that could withstand this sort of strike from its head, the creature then revealed a more anomalous ability. It could fire forth from its maw a concentrated beam of boiling water. It can continue this action for an extended period of time and withstand the increased temperature of the water around it. It used this in an escape attempt soon after first being contained, and as we were ill-prepared for this action, the water soon heated to a point where the walls around its cell began to weaken. It has since been moved to a stronger holding and has since not proven to be a significant breach threat.
That's a pretty cool one. I like this one. That really does look like a totally viable Pokemon. Like, really, really. The
Item
crab
number
one did too. Another teddy bear.
SCP-P8128. Object class.
Oh, that was cool, that cat
Special
thing.
containment procedures. Specimens of P8128 are to be housed in a 3-foot by 3-foot glass case with temperature
Some of those look like
regulated
variants
to
of existing
-12
Pokemon.
degrees Celsius. A rabbit or other similarly sized rodent are to be placed in the containment once every 2 weeks to sustain the specimens. Currently, we have 7 samples of this creature.
I just saw one that
with more
I saw that
likely
one that
to
looked like an
come.
electric version of one,
Sustenance
of the one we
allotment will
just
be
talked about.
reconsidered upon an increase in specimen count. Description: P8128 is a 1-inch long tick-like insect with a biology partially consisting of ice. Ice forms its back legs, frontal claws, its
poison
proboscis
ice
nose,
type?
as
Interesting.
well as spawns from the exoskeleton behind its head. It also has a tail roughly the same length as its body, which it can swing at surprising speeds to use as a weapon when need be. Though, these creatures do not tend to get in fights with their prey.
I'll kill
This
it.
is because P8128 preys predominantly on large animals in the Arctic Circle. The first case of one was reported found on a recently deceased polar bear that looked as though the very life force had been drained from it. A single
Yeesh.
specimen of P8128 had managed to kill the full-grown bear. The insect was then consciously placed on another bear and observed. It remained on the target for a period of 26 days, with the bear slowly appearing more and more exhausted and distraught. It died at the end of those 26 days, and the specimen was recaptured, and more personnel were sent to the region to search for more.
That's
These
kinda fucked
insects
up.
consume a staggering amount of blood for their small size, as their bodies convert the blood into multiple other forms to help sustain them. They convert parts of the blood into a frosting agent.
There was
that
a
keeps
movie
their
about
body
something like
temperatures
that. It's about some
down
sort of
and
bugs
icy
under
winds
Arctic
solidify.
ice or something
They
like
also
that.
alter the blood into a form of
Ice
poison
crawlers,
that
I think
makes
it was
them
called.
undetectable to the
It was
prey
similar.
they are
It was something
feasting
like that.
upon. In a trial, one of these specimens was placed on the back of an under-observation D-class personnel without his knowledge. The subject showed no signs of knowing there was an insect on his back draining his blood, and the creature remained there for a period of 3 days, as the subject grew far thinner and more lethargic as time went on.
That's
If
fucked
alive
up, man.
in large quantities and left unchecked, these creatures could potentially wipe out whole cities with a manner of ease. Though, so far, we have luckily found them to be incredibly rare and to only exist in the Arctic Circle. We fully intend to prevent any further spread and get all of them into containment if possible. Though, as you can imagine, finding a tick in the tundra is not a particularly easy task.
They probably can't handle warmer temperatures. That would keep them contained. And because of lack of food in the Arctic, that would keep their population under control too.
The final SCP we'll discuss today is a much more unusual form of entity, as it does not resemble any biological creature, other than being somewhat humanoid in shape. Item number
Okay.
SCP-P4182. Object class, Euclid.
Whoa.
Special containment procedures.
Drumaton?
P4182 is contained in a
Drumaton?
90 by 70 foot underground lot, once used as Foundation parking for personnel.
That's
Any
cool. It
metal
looks like a
scraps
ghost
or
steel
waste
type.
the Foundation produces are to be placed
Or a
in
steel
this
fire
lot
type.
for use by P4182. Personnel are only to enter containment while the entity is distracted with a task, as it luckily often is. Description. P4182 is a 15-foot tall biomechanical humanoid seemingly constructed from rusted metal drums and rubber piping. It has a large illuminated X across its core that seems to serve the function of its eyes. It is
Okay.
constantly emitting steam, and scans of the creature reveal that it has a liquid with similar viscosity to water sloshing around within it, though somehow this never completely dissipates despite the constant emission of steam. The creature was first found in an
Okay.
abandoned junkyard in Oregon. Foundation personnel were prompted to investigate after a group of young locals reported to the authorities an alien monster rummaging around the yard at night.
Iron
Foundation
Giant.
personnel found the creature and approached with great caution, though it took little notice of them and continued on with the task of organizing metal scraps and shaping some pieces into abstract sculptures. It was observed doing so for a period
Definitely
of
the
3
Iron
days
Giant.
before field operatives were instructed to bring it into custody and out of the potential range of civilian eyes.
How?
This proved to be a more difficult task
Yeah.
than expected. Despite the creature having shown no interest in the Foundation personnel around it before, when a vehicle was brought in and the personnel attempted to usher the creature inside, it became violent, striking Foundation personnel with lethal force and even clapping its massive arm drums together, spraying out from within it a barrage of boiling liquid that seriously wounded 3 agents.
Ooh.
Eventually, a second squadron with a larger vehicle were able to get the creature inside by putting scrap metal for it to work with inside the truck along with it. We have since built a miniature scrapyard for it, and it has remained fairly peaceful in Foundation containment. Much investigation is still being done into this creature's origins and the potential of its biology to be used for Foundation benefits. I myself have proposed that if parts of its biomechanical body can be replicated, we could create a form of semi-sentient weaponry to help us capture and contain other entities.
It would be helpful.
But this concept is still in very
If it could be
early
controlled.
proposition stages. Now, that is all the time we have for today.
This is a really
Further
cool one. I
requests are
really
always
like this
accepted,
one.
And I'll see you all in my next lecture.
I really
Good
like
night,
this Pokemon.
and
This would be
goodbye.
badass. It's either like a ghost steel type or a steel fire type. What do you guys think?
Very much digging that as the
Kinda
background
reminds
for
me
the
of
next
Golurk.
month. By the way, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this, I highly recommend checking out the previous episode of Pokemon as SCPs. But also, you may want to go over to Dempsey J Illustrations channel and check out the Pokemon Community Redraw episode that he just put out. Because not only does he make similar kinds of content to what I make on here, so you just generally like his videos, but he and I actually both chose Lego-Matic's Drumaton for our community redraws. So you can go see what he did to that one. I'll link his channel in the cards and description and wherever else. But of course, I've got to give a huge thank you to everybody who submitted for this community redraw, and a specific thank you to the awesome selectees for this episode. Ben Legal, Andrew Farmer, Anonymous, Super
Anonymous,
Kitty,
Among Us.
Drake, and Lego-Matic. And now it's time to announce the theme for October's community redraw. And we're gonna lean into
It's relatively
the
simple,
spookiness
but
of
that's
Spooky
cool.
Month a little bit and do something in the folklore universe. There will be a Google Docs document giving
what
a slightly
universe?
more thorough breakdown of this community redraw that I recommend you read if you're gonna participate. But the basics of it is I want you to take one of the Multiverse Tales characters and turn them into folklore creatures. Vampires, werewolves, mer creatures, anything in that sort of realm. One stipulation I will add on here though, if you choose Vasilia Kuznet, you have to make her a were-jaguar. Super excited to see what you all submit, but besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a nice simple one, which is that nothing can stop a made-up mind. I don't even feel the need to elaborate on that one, it's just a good, nice, punchy sort of one.
Alright, so those were actually interesting. I mean, it's nice that the community comes up with, in many cases, better Pokemon than what Nintendo comes up with. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought of those Pokemon in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, guys, and don't forget to click on the link to the original. Like and subscribe over at Popcross, and I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.